What's going on, everybody? This is John Jake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Youngstown State Dynasty, featuring all three sports in this one. So you're going to love to stick around for this one. It's going to be a great one. We're going to be wrapping up the off seasons for both football, basketball, and baseball, since we don't have any active sports going on, actually. And that way I can also show you guys the players that are available for you guys to become custom prospects for season number 2. So that being said, this is the episode to get your custom player in if you do want one. But in the meantime, let's go ahead. I hope you're ready for this episode, man. If you're ready, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're brand new. By the way, you'll love what you see. And we'll go ahead and jump right into it, starting with where we picked off the last time here in the football off season. Now, we did have like portions of the football off season as well as the basketball off season as we have progressed through baseball season. But now we get into a deeper dive, right? And we're just to kind of recap what has happened as of late. This is the football class that we did end up signing. We signed a lot of good players, most notably Austin Douglas, the number 2 quarterback in this recruiting class. He ends up signing with our program, the only 5-star that we managed to snag. We did sign a bunch of other 4-stars such as Jamal Whitfield, Adam Reed, who is a JUCO transfer, Nick Riggs, who we got through the in-season recruiting, as well as Randy Sutton. Damian Thomas is also in here, the Mississippi product. He's going to be, some of our other 4-stars. So, getting a good chunk of talent. Also brought in a pretty good kicker in Lee Richardson. He's the 9th-ranked kicker in this recruiting class. Michael Blunt, who's a solid fullback. Brian Brooks, who's a good middle linebacker. Kyle Bennett should be a good, backup. Same thing for Mark Johnson. And Joe Campbell, 2-star guy, but could see the field a little bit just because we are still a little bit short on players. But anyways, for those of you guys that are wondering, those are the football players if you're thinking about signing, making a football guy for season number 2. So there is that. And where does that put us in terms of a recruiting class? Well, even though that we ended up finishing, I believe, 7-6, and also despite the fact that we did end up being sanctioned, so that does limit our scholarships down to 15 for, I believe, this year as well as next year as well. We signed a pretty good class. We finished with the 19th ranked class in college football down here at the FCS level. We are only a 1-star for academics, so our academics are not very good. That's probably part of the reason why we are on a 2-year probation. But the guys that we did end up signing are high quality players. So that's something that I do really like to see. And even though I wish I could bring in more players, I think the players that we are able to bring in for the most part should be able to get some looks for us. That's for sure. So something to definitely keep an eye on is what's going to happen at this quarterback position. Now, Chris Ty was one of our best players last year, but look at this. Austin Douglas does come through as an 80 overall guy. He is nothing to mess with. So he's going to actually push Chris Ty for that starting job. Don't know if he'll end up getting there. I would expect that Chris Ty will end up with the starting job still. He is the favorite, but Austin Douglas should see the field a little bit, and then maybe we redshirt Mark Johnson. Over at halfback, I only did sign 2 running backs, so might get a walk-on at the halfback position, but we will have Jamal Whitfield and Kyle Bennett. Fullback is the same thing, Ryan Ellis and Michael Blunt, all 70+ overall guys, so I do really like that. Wide receiver, definitely the same. Did not bring any wide receivers last year, something that I need to address. And I think the same thing with tight end or our receiving core is not going to be that good this upcoming season, but tackle we did get better. We did bring in Damian Thomas. He will be starting at left tackle off rip. We will still have David Reed on the right hand side. Guard is still going to be a little bit of the same, and then we did also bring in Nick Riggs as well. He will be our starting center. So a couple of new starters on our offensive line. Still need to get a little bit better, particularly at the guard position. But that's something I hope I can go after in season number 2. As for the defensive line, well, the defensive line will still need some work. We only have 4 total defensive linemen. But Randy Sutton is a 4-star, and he will be starting for us right away. Off rip, should be starting alongside Mark Swain, number 91 for us, with Alfred Montoya and Calvin Williams now being relegated to the bench. For the outside linebacker position in our 4-3, Joe Campbell, who I believe is a 2-star, by the way. He is actually going to be starting for us. Actually, he's a 68 overall, so you love to see that. He's going to start for us right away. And then it's going to be a freeway battle for that other outside linebacker position between Greg Franklin, Simon Scott, and Joe Bennett. Middle linebacker, we will have Brian Brooks, but I feel like David Silva will start there. If I had more middle linebackers, I would definitely move Brian Brooks to the outside, but, you know, he'll be maybe a good backup piece, something along those lines. Corner will need some work, of course. We will have Adam Reed, at least in the secondary, and then Adam Walters is our current projected starter at strong safety. So we do have some things that we need to work on still. We don't have, you know, a lot as much talent, but I mean, we definitely have some guys that we can build around. I really like how this freshman class is shaping up, and at least this time around we do only have 9 seniors. So if we end up signing double-digit guys, we should be able to at least increase our numbers. Hopefully we can get it up to the 50s after this season. So we end up getting to the training results to see where our guys are stacking up, and our best player will be Chris Time this upcoming season. He does not improve that much. He only does become a +2. He is still the best player on our team, but you know, really not much difference between that and the backup quarterback that we just ended up signing. Other players that we do have that were not true freshmen or, you know, JUCO transfers. David Silva, he is a +2. He is a 76. But John Langford, the custom player senior guy, does not improve at all. He is only a 72. And that's the thing about NCAA 06. Some guys just do not really grow that fast. They don't grow as easily in NCAA 06 and maybe a, let's just say, NCAA 14, right? Like, guys have potential, right? And, you know, sometimes that potential may not be realized, and other times it may actually be realized. So, the guys that are currently on the roster, they're not that great. Cam Jones got a little bit better. He's a +3, but really going to be leaning on this freshman class here this upcoming season in order for us to try to improve on our 7-6 record. So we get to the cut players portion of this offseason, and obviously we're not going to cut anybody because we don't really have that many new players to work with. We're only up to 49, so we still are a very thinned out roster. The reason I'm showing you this though is we did end up getting a few walk-ons. It seems like we got 4 walk-ons total for this upcoming season, and I'm trying to see where I can find them. One of them is Tyler Watts. He is a 52 overall free safety, 6'1", 188 pounds. You know, he's a guy that he's not that fast for a safety, only 72 speed. So somebody that I don't want on the field if I can help it. Do also have Matt Hickman. He is going to be a walk-on at the cornerback position, 5'11", 192 pounds, a 52 overall guy from Avon Lake, Ohio. And, you know, he is somebody that also is, you know, leaves a little bit more to be desired, to be honest with you. 78 speed is, you know, a little bit better. But I honestly want my corners to be, you know, in that like high 80s, low 90s kind of thing for speed. So don't know how much he's going to help either, but, you know, he's a body as well. As we're looking through some of the other walk-ons, you know, there's 2 other walk-ons on this roster. Cody Boyd, he is a junior. He's also a JUCO transfer. Very slow. 70 speed is what this man has. He is not very fast by any stretch of the imagination, and the awareness is incredibly low. 48 awareness, has 70 agility, 70 acceleration, does have 65 catching, I believe that's what it is, and has very good stamina. So the endurance is there. he's going to be a developmental piece. And I wish I could redshirt guys, but just we don't have the depth, right? That's really what our problem is. And then the other walk-on that we have is RJ Mail. He is 5'11", 215 pounds. He is a product from Willoughby, Ohio. That's actually up in the Cleveland area. 74 speed, 65 strength. Doesn't really have any strengths. It could be a decent tackler if we have turnovers for an offensive player. He's going to end up being our third string guy because he's significantly slower than Jamal Whitfield and Kyle Bennett. But, with that being said, that does mean we have 15 freshmen. And still, despite that, we still only have 9 seniors this upcoming season. So we just got that going our way to help improve our numbers for future seasons. So we take a look at the conference outlook as well as the preseason polls at the national level, and I mean, they're going to be sleeping on us this year, man, for season number 2. Maybe it's because of the sanctions, or I don't know what it is. We are the only school in the conference that has a 2-year sanctions. But that being said, Tennessee State, they are thinking they are going to win it. They are ranked number 12 to start things out. Giving chase is Sanford, but that being said, this is a very open conference. Even though we are picked to go 7th in the conference this year, I mean, there are multiple programs that have 2-star ratings. So really anyone could win it this year, I believe, within our conference. But as for how much we actually improved, we did not improve very much. Of course, you got North Dakota State. They are, looks like the preseason number 1. They are going to be a B-. Really, a lot of B- teams in here overall. I believe last year we were I want to say we were like D- across the board. But so from that aspect, we did improve a little bit. But in terms of where we currently are ranked at, we are going to be ranked 47th in the country. So we do have a solid ranking to go with it. We are going to have a D offense and a D- defense this upcoming season. So we will have that rocking with us. But moving forward, though, we got to be able to attack a little bit better. As we take a look at our custom schedule for this upcoming season, we actually will be we're going to go ahead. We are taking on Illinois State again. We have a home game against Toledo and San Diego State to go with it. Then we jump into the meat of conference play. Road games against Murray State, Eastern Kentucky. Follow that up with the number 12 team in the nation, Tennessee State. Follow that up with Eastern Illinois, Western Kentucky on the road. And then after we do go on by, we will have Tennessee Martin, Jacksonville State, who just played in the NCAA tournament in real life. And then we will close the season out with a home game against Southeast Missouri State. So that's what we got going on. It's going to be a tough schedule. I am interested to see how it turns out. B+, it's going to be brutal. It is going to be brutal this upcoming season. And now we move on to the baseball offseason, right? So, like I said, we did end up going 15-32 on the year. But we do find out that Oregon State, out of the Pac-12, did end up winning the national championship. They ended up winning a 2-0 against Furman from the SoCon. So Furman kind of the Cinderella of this year, making it all the way to the College World Series final. Didn't work out for them completely, but hey, at the end of the day, they made it that far. Made it a lot farther than us, that's for sure. We didn't even make it into the conference tournament, and therefore couldn't even get in to the NCAA regionals. We couldn't get that to happen for us this year, unfortunately. So it is what it is, but we now will go ahead and jump into the offseason. And how about this for a surprise? It looks like Matt Chamberlain, one of our players, ends up getting drafted into the MLB. In 40 games, ended up with 45 hits, a 302 batting average, 11 home runs, and 33 RBIs on the year. So, congratulations to Matt Chamberlain. He was a bright spot for us this year. As for some of the other players that did end up graduating, honestly, weren't that big of an impact. Guys that, really did not necessarily start for us this past season. Apex Florals, one of the custom prospects, did end up graduating. He also was the backup quarterback for the football team in 15 games. He was 2 for 2, 3.98 ERA, 25 strikeouts, and 24 walks. So, not a very impactful senior class. But again, shout out to Matt Chamberlain for it looks like making it to the MLB. Now, as for some of the guys that did end up progressing, we actually, at least we got that going for us. Almost all of us, I believe, actually did end up progressing. I don't see really anybody not at least improve a little bit. Although John Wilson is an exception. He actually goes backwards. His curveball is a -8 with his slider getting up +1. So that's one notable exception. But for the most part, we at least get better, which is good because I don't think we could end up getting really any worse than what just transpired this past season, right? So we at least had that going for us. The current players on this team is going to get a lot better right now. For us, we do end up bringing in, it looks like 5 players that we ended up, going after. We do end up getting all 5. They do end up all being recruited. We also got a bunch of walk-ons, man. We got a few walk-ons on the team. Now, who I want to go after, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do was I'm going to go ahead and cut out for a little bit, divvy out scholarships, and then when I'm done with my scholarships, I'll go ahead and get back to you guys. Alright guys, so after thinking about what I wanted to do, I will end up bringing in 6 total players, 5 of which who I was purposely trying to go ahead and target going into this year. 2 of the biggest guys that we got, Randall Cameron and Jason Bronde, are both 69 overalls. 9 of them will be starting right away, but can be some good contributors moving into this season. We don't really have any starters, I don't think, starting for the team, but definitely some solid backups. We also end up getting Mark Hancock on a 60% scholarship for this upcoming season. He will be behind Kimbrel for, I would imagine, at least a couple of years. He'll end up, be sitting behind him for a couple of seasons. And then to round out our guys that are going to be on scholarship, Brian Walker. He's on 90% scholarship, but that's because he has to wait till his 4th year to start, and that was really the only way to really get him onto the team. And then Jeff Fouts, who I thought could end up being the starter right away, but John Langford, the walk-on third baseman that we have, is going to hang on to that as of right now, right? And then we had one more spot remaining, and there was a walk-on that we ended up bringing in. Chris Legespi ends up being a 60 overall, so I went ahead and signed him on as well. He is going to be a walk-on for us this upcoming season. There was nobody else that was above a 60 overall that I wanted, but these are the 6 players that are going to end up joining the Youngstown State Penguins this upcoming season. For those of you that want a baseball player in this series. But that being said, as we do end up getting ourselves into the preview for this upcoming season, we are really, I think we're somehow worse than last year. I mean, it's hard to say. Looks like we are a D+ in terms of pitching, D+ batting, D defense, and D running. So we don't really do anything too terribly well. But that being said, I am ramping up recruiting in a big way. I want to bring in far more high school players this time around. We have a bunch of needs that we need to meet. The most notable is Kevin Carrero. He is looking like a 71 overall from the state of Virginia. Originally was going to keep it, within either the state of Ohio or the neighboring states, but not a lot of talent in those, border areas. So we're moving out a little bit farther because we need some players, man. We really need some guys, to come on this team right away and maybe try to help us out moving forward. So, hopefully we can bring some of these guys in. I think we just have to get that interest bar halfway filled up, and then we'll be able to bring them in. But definitely a lot of work that will need to be done in order for us to be successful on the recruiting front. Now, before I wanted to go ahead and wrap things up, I told you guys that I wanted to show you guys one last look at the recruiting class for our basketball team, so that you guys have a full chance to pick who you want to come to Youngstown State, right? So we do have 5 players on our basketball team. We got 4-star Kent Miles from Warren, Michigan, coming onto the squad. 6'8", 216-pound guy. Really love him. We also have 3-star centers Jill Diaz from Elyria, Ohio, as well as Ronald Turner, who is a 2-star. He's 6'9". Gil Diaz is 7 foot, 231 pounds. And then to wrap out this recruiting class, Rayshawn O'Sullivan, he is a point guard out of Troy, Michigan, 6'1", 180 pounds. And then shooting guard Timmy Cornett from Moraine, Ohio, 6'4", 193 pounds. Again, if you guys want any of these players, you can let me know down in the comment section. Because there is, really rare to see 2-sport athletes at the collegiate level, I am going to reserve that just for channel members. So if you want to have a 2-sport athlete in this series from here on forward, go ahead, check out that channel membership program. Otherwise, do have plenty of players available. Going to have, like 20 free guys available for you guys to take within the free sports. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and take a quick look at how this basketball team is looking going into year 2. So taking a quick peek at our conference, or at least our schedule here for this upcoming season, we did get invited to a early season tournament, the O'Reilly's Auto Parks Classic. That will be part of our season opener. And then after that, we will go on the road, play against Mount St. Mary's, as well as Tennessee State, who is in our football conference. Then to wrap out non-conference play, we will be taking on Ball State, Quinnipiac, and then finish up with a road game against Akron, who we did play against Akron last year. We could not beat them, unfortunately, before going into the rest of our conference play, right? So we got that going for us this upcoming season. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see how this team is going to look. So yeah, man, that being said, next episode, we are going to hop into season number 2. Starting with football season, man, we are going to be coming back around. We made it through a full season, guys. I appreciate your love for this series. If you enjoyed what you see, make sure you go ahead, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you have to be brand new. And then, of course, if you do want to have a custom prospect for season number 2, make sure you go ahead and get that in, through the comment section. I will have a template down below as a pinned comment, so you guys have a template to work off of. But with that being said, this is John Shake Gaming on the mic signing off. I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.